Welcome back, guys, to the Horse Girl Hype, officially season 3 of this podcast, where I come on and talk about different horse things, different horse topics, my horses, my life, training horses and doing projects, and having some friends on to talk about horses, and just kind of all different things. So we don't really have a uniform pattern here on this podcast, but I just come on here, talk about some things, answer some of your guys' questions, and just keep an open mind about the horse world here and all the different walks of life that we come from in the horse world, and all the different things that we're doing, all the different sports. So if you haven't been here before, my name's Michaela. And bear with me on this episode. I am trying to figure out my new camera. So, we finally have some video footage that I'm really going to try to match up with this audio. I'm really not a techie person. That is my downfall of my social media existence, is that I'm just really not that techie. And I don't know. People make it look so easy that you're just whipping together these really nice videos with really awesome sound and all these different effects and stuff. And I don't know how to do all that. And it's really expensive to do all that. So bear with me while I'm trying to figure this out. I got a new camera for Christmas, so I'm really hoping that this can add a little extra something to the podcast, because lately I've just been doing our podcast cover, but everybody likes, if they want to tune in and watch, to have some video quality with it. So here I am, not sure if this is going to be the permanent location or not. Sometimes I do record with my best friend Melanie, and sometimes we do it at her house, so I guess it will just all depend on where we are. Or, knock on wood, I really want to build a she shed this year. So I'm kind of thinking my she shed, we could do a little something in there to have a little podcast corner or something and make it look really cute. But we'll see what happens. For now, we're on my couch. Don't mind my house behind me. It might be a little messy. Don't look over here. But yeah, so let's get comfy and talk about some horse things. Welcome to season 3. I'm really excited. Anyway, today is February 6th, so we're fresh in the new year. The last episode, I basically just talked all about last year and what we did last year. So if you missed that, go back and watch. And all the horses we added to the herd this year was kind of crazy. So what are the plans for this year? What are we going to be doing this year? Hopefully everybody's been enjoying the warm weather we've had the last couple weeks. I live in Iowa. Also, if you didn't know that, I live in Iowa. Where we have long winters of all different variations. The weather's just never consistent here. The only consistent thing about it is that it's all over the place. We have really hot summers a lot of the time. Our winters suck most of the time. We usually get a lot of snow, ice. But this year's been really mild, thankfully, and we're on the tail end of it. So I'm really hoping that this weather sticks around. We've had 40s, 50-degree weather the last couple weeks. Really great for kind of getting the horses back out, getting a little refresher done on everybody. I have a lot of projects this year, if you guys didn't know, and so I really wanted to start as early as possible, and I'm getting kind of bored on my winter break. So I don't have an indoor arena here, and a lot of times it's just a gamble whether we can haul somewhere to use an indoor arena or not, if the roads and the weather will allow for it. So most of the time my horses just get the winter off, and that's not super ideal for most colt starters and horse trainers. It's not a very good career plan to just take half the year off. So I do work another part-time job at a vet's office, and that kind of gets me through this time of the year where everything's slow, but things start to pick back up in the spring. So lately, I've been just kind of refreshing my horses, some projects from last year. I got a horse surrendered to me. Her name is Stella. She's a beautiful paint mare. I think she's a little older, probably in her late teens, early 20s. And she was surrendered to me because she was a problem horse. And, her owners just kind of wanted her to go to a good home and go somewhere where she'll be utilized and hopefully get some training that she needed. So we did a lot of groundwork with her last year. I kind of got busy with client horses, so she got pushed to the back burner. But I got her out the other day just to do a little refresh on the things we learned last year, and she did really good. I saddled her up. I'm really hoping like a few more groundwork sessions, and I will try to put the first ride on her. I might even see if Mel wants to try putting the first ride on her. Mel, if you're listening. And we're pretty sure that she was broke in her past life at some point, because she just takes everything so easily. She doesn't care about anything. Literally threw the saddle on her and she was like, whatever. So I'm pretty sure she's been broke out. So it shouldn't be like that big of a deal. Mel said the one time she was working with her, she even got up in the stirrups and stuff and she didn't even care. So we're pretty sure she's broke. But so Stella, really, we're kind of just considering her like being brought back into work, refreshing her. And Mel has been doing a lot of groundwork with her too, or she did last year anyway. But I'm hoping to get a few more groundwork sessions with her. I'd like to see her, lunging, going around really well with the saddle on, just to make sure she has no buck. And, we'll just kind of see what we're working with. So go from there. But yeah, so I got her out. Me and Mel did a little trail ride last weekend. We went out to the cow pasture. Again, if you're new here, my boyfriend has cattle, so they have a big cow pasture and stuff. But in the winter like this, the cows are put up in the cattle yard where they're eating hay and silage and stuff. So they're not out in the pasture. So we take advantage of this time of year to go out and trail ride in the pasture and get some miles in on the horses. And it's actually pretty tough trails out there. Like, it's a pasture because it's not farmable land, right? So like there's creeks and just like valleys and hills and up and down and rough terrain. So it was a good workout for the horses the other day. We took Sugar and Misty. Mel rode her horse Cash, and I rode Sugar and just ponied Misty along. I just kind of wanted to see how she would do. I haven't really done anything with Misty since I got her in November. She's just kind of been needing some vet work done and stuff, so I haven't done a whole lot with her. She's a very, very sweet mare. She's Sugar's twin. Like, they look very, very similar, so if you'll see them in the vlogs, her and Sugar look a lot alike. But I ponied her along. We went out to the cow pasture. She did so good. Like, we are actually out there longer than I was expecting, probably a couple hours. And she ponied right along with us the whole time. She kind of trotted a little bit with us. Like, you could tell she was just enjoying getting the attention and being out and kind of going on a little adventure. She ponied really well. She like gives to the halter pressure really well. We crossed some water a couple times. We crossed over a little bridge. We went up and through the trees and logs and stuff, and she took everything with stride like she had done it a million times. So I was really happy with how she did, and kind of a nice little way to get her started for the year, going out with some other horses that know what they're doing and kind of give her some confidence. But I have a feeling she's going to be so easy to work with once we get kind of some of her physical issues figured out. She does need to see a chiro, and I want to make sure like she's sound and stuff before we start riding her, because that's some of the issues like her previous owners were concerned about. But yeah, so everyone's getting a little refresh. This weekend, actually, we're going to be going to a clinic, which I'm a little nervous about, not going to lie. We're going to be going to a clinic about an hour from here. Actually, just another trainer that I know is putting it on and using an indoor arena, and she's just putting on a little confidence building clinic, which I think will be really good for us to go to. Very like casual, low stress, like spook proof type groundwork clinic. And we're going to take the colts. So we're going to take Rojo and Bill. And then we're going to take Misty as well. So Mel's going to come with us. She's going to, work with Misty. My boyfriend is going to take Bill because he wanted a Bill. And then I'll hopefully get Rojo in there. I'm a little skeptical because Rojo has not been loaded in a year since I bought him a year ago. So I'm hoping the clinic is on Sunday, so I'm hoping maybe Mel could come out Saturday. I'll have to ask her, but I would like to refresh our loading on Saturday before we go on Sunday so that I know he's going to get in the trailer. That's coming up this weekend. That will be a nice little learning experience for the boys and for Misty. I think Misty's probably going to do totally fine with it. Not sure how the boys are going to do. But being together and being with other horses, I think will be nice. We just signed up for the groundwork portion, so it's for the afternoon, obviously, because none of these horses are broke. I'm not doing the riding portion, but wish us luck. Hopefully they'll do just fine, and they'll get some learning experience in. Someday I want to just like throw a whole bunch of random spook proofing obstacles and stuff in my little arena and just turn the boys out in there and just kind of see what happens. Now, obviously, that could go very wrong. I don't think it will with them. They're all pretty chill boys. But I've got like, in my storage unit, I've got a bunch of like pool noodles and yoga balls and cheerleading pom-poms, and if I lay out like some tarps and stuff and just put it all out there for them to sniff around and look at and play with, hopefully, and just kind of see how they do. But yeah, that would be fun. And this will be a nice controlled environment where they can, learn and be with other horses that are learning and stuff as well. So wish us luck. Hopefully that'll go well. But I want to talk a little bit about the plans I have for everybody this year. I have, let me think, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 horses here at home now, which is a little bit insane. I honestly wouldn't mind moving 1 or 2 along, maybe to a new home, or selling a couple. We'll just see what happens throughout the year. But my plan for everybody this year could always change. Like, honestly, I could change it right after this podcast. So nothing is like set in stone, but I do have like things that I want to work towards, or kind of goals for everybody for the year. So we'll just start at the ones that are broke. Sugar and BB, my broke, easygoing. They are basically my main horses. I don't really have big goals for them this year. Sugar, I would really like to get her more chiro body work type stuff figured out, because I talked some in my last podcast about how I think she's settling into maybe some arthritis and stuff like that. She always just seems uncomfortable. She doesn't move very well. So I really want to focus on that for her and getting her comfortable, and she will only ride better and work better and enjoy her job more if she's comfortable. So I want to do that. But ultimately, for her like riding goals, I don't have a lot. She'll probably still be doing some lessons. I don't know if I'm going to push lessons as much this year as I have in the past, but they are a good source of income for the business and for the horses. So just continuing to be her lesson horse self, a main, easygoing girl that we can trail ride, and hopefully she can, pony Misty around some more this year. BB, BB, I gave her last year off from endurance riding. She's my endurance horse, or limited distance, I should say. She's my LD horse. I don't ride endurance. Endurance is like 50 miles and over. I don't do that. I just do the LDs, which is like 20 to 35 miles. And I gave her last year off. So I'm hoping this year, if I can keep her weight at a good place, maybe we can get back into doing that a little bit more and hit a few rides. She does have IMM, for those of you that don't know, which stands for immune-mediated myopathy. It is like an autoimmune disease that comes from strangles. So it can actually come from like either the horse just getting strangles, like the illness, or it can come from the vaccine as well. So just be aware of that if you're vaccinating your horses for strangles. I know a lot of barns require it, but it's, I think, most prominent in quarter horses, but it can be caused, IMM can be caused by strangles. So it kind of inhibits her ability to really be properly muscled. Like, I know I get a lot of questions, and I think people probably have the best intentions, like when asking me about her. Like I know I'll take her places, and people will kind of ask about her weight and how old she is and stuff like that. And a lot of times I just tell them, she actually this year she'll probably be 18 or 19 years old, but I usually just tell them how old she is and that she has IMM, so she doesn't really gain weight like a normal healthy horse, even though there's not really that much wrong with her. Her top line just atrophies a lot, so per my vet's recommendations, keep her on a high protein diet and keep riding her. He literally told me to continue riding her because if I don't, then her muscle will just continue to waste away more. So if I can keep riding her as long as she's comfortable, she's not in pain or anything, then definitely do so. Make sure my tack fits well and keep utilizing those muscles because, just sitting in a pasture, she's going to probably look worse as they waste away. So I would like to kind of get her back into a little endurance this year, so long as her body is up for it and she can handle it. She is still, like, I call her my rocket ship pony because she's still, like, she got IMM a few years ago, and, like, you could tell with her body, but as far as her attitude and her willingness, like, nothing has changed about her. Her personality is completely the same. She's ready to go. She will do whatever I ask her. She loves to go, and endurance is just a great sport for her. I do think she really likes the job, and she's so willing to do it. And I can tell when she's getting a little fatigued, during the ride. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how she does. And she is getting to her senior years. So I don't really know what people consider senior these days. I feel like senior is 20 plus. But I know some people consider like their 15-year-old horses senior. I'm like, I feel like my 15-year-old horses are still in their prime. Okay. So she's approaching her senior years, and Sugar is as well. So just trying to, do right by them and keep them comfortable, but also keep them working. Let's see, who else? Luna. Luna is one that I'm kind of considering moving along to someone else. If you guys have been around a long, long time, Luna was my very first project horse. Like 9 years ago, I bought her for $350. And turns out she was already broke. She was kind of like a Stella situation where I found out she was already broke. So I kind of just put some miles on her and kind of refreshed her. But I sold her and then bought her back about 5.5 years ago. And actually almost maybe 6 years ago now. But as my business and my focus on training horses is going up, I just don't really have a use for Luna anymore. She's just kind of been a spare. And like she does fine when we pull her out for the occasional trail ride or we need an extra horse. Like she does great. I think she does like being trail ridden. She's always like up front, willing to go. She doesn't really have a problem with much. She crosses water. She does really everything she's asked of. She does fine. She's a good trail horse. And I've trail rode her a lot. Like, since I bought her back, I've trail rode her a bunch. And she's really only trail broke. Like, she's not show broke. She's not arena broke or anything. I feel like she's probably a little too much to use as a lesson horse. So I'm just kind of thinking like, gosh, I don't know. If the right situation came along, I would probably be willing to rehome her. But of course I of course care about her a lot, and she's a saddlebred, which nobody wants around here. So it would just kind of be like a home by home basis type thing. I don't want to like post her for sale for a bunch of random freaking people, to see. But, a few episodes ago, we joked about Mel taking her, because Mel's horses are kind of getting older and she needs something to ride. I'm not going to pressure her to do that, but I would totally be open to her taking Luna with her when she takes her horses home. And Luna also loves Cash for whatever reason. She's obsessed with Cash. Her and Cash don't even live together anymore, but if she sees Cash around the property, she will stand at the gate and whinny for him. It's a little ridiculous, but yeah. So if I had a friend, or somebody I knew well that I knew would take care of her and would return her back to me if they didn't like her or it didn't work out for her, then I would. I offered her to one of the horse ranches that I grew up working at. I went to horse camp there and they do like public trail rides and stuff. And I was really hoping maybe they would take her because like that would be a great situation for her to just do trail rides and be used as a camp horse and stuff. Maybe for some girls that have ridden a little bit more and get used regularly throughout the week. I was like, she could do it. She could do the job. But I don't know. They didn't seem very interested. So it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I really need the space. She doesn't really have a job here anymore. She doesn't really have a lot of use here. So, she deserves to be somebody's horse, until she is in the spot to retire. But we'll just see what happens. Nothing's set in stone. And I guess if that doesn't happen, she'll just continue to be a spare here and be used whenever we need an extra horse. Who next? I guess Freedom. I bought Freedom this last year, and her I'm actually really considering breeding this year. I just want to dip my toes into it a little bit, and she has had one baby before, so she's not a maiden mare. I actually know some folks that have a nice quarter horse stud here locally, so I'm trying to work that out and trying to see kind of the logistics of that, how much it would cost and stuff. So I'm looking into breeding her this year. If that doesn't happen, I guess she'll also be a spare and just, be a trail horse to ride until I do breed her. But hopefully this spring we can work that out and that'll be exciting. I've never bred anything before, and I've honestly never even been interested in breeding until like the last year or two. I've kind of thought about it. And we'll just see what happens with that. Who else do I own? There's a bunch more of them. Stella, I guess I just talked about Stella a little bit, and hopefully we'll be riding her soon. And she's also one that I'm kind of like, if I get some rides on her and I feel really good about her, I would offer her to Mel if Mel wants her as, something to trail ride or something. Otherwise, I would probably look into finding her a good home as well. And hopefully get some trail miles on her, especially if she's broke already. I don't know if she's ever been shown or anything, but I guess she could be. Like, if she has a really nice gait and goes around well, she could be somebody's little show horse or something. But I don't know. So we'll just see what goes on with her and if we get some miles on her. But like, I don't need all these spare trail horses, right? And like, that's the goal when I take in projects, is to give them the proper training that they need and then move them along to somebody that will use them and hopefully keep them forever. But we'll just see what happens with her. So we need to get some under saddle time with her in this year first, and then if I feel like, I don't really need to keep her forever, then we'll move her along. And then Ethel, I bought Ethel not quite a year ago, last like May or June, I think. And she's definitely put on a lot more weight. She kind of just sat around last year because she had a foal in her 20s, and you could tell it really dragged her down. She did not look good. And then bringing her home, it took a long time for her to gain any weight. So she's finally gained some weight. She looks pretty good. I still wouldn't mind if she gained a little bit more. She has a little bit of like a roach back. And I'm guessing that's just from being a broodmare. I've seen other broodmares with that before. So she's a little bit roach backed, and I feel like that makes her look like she's skinnier than she is. But I honestly just think it's probably from having babies. And so I wouldn't mind seeing her gain a little bit more weight, but otherwise she's doing pretty good. Her DSLD doesn't seem to affect her too much. Like, she doesn't seem like she's in pain by it at all. She moves around and trots around out on her own just fine. So I did ride her about a week ago also, just because the weather was nice, and I do want to ride her a few times before I, throw someone's kid on her, because I did buy her as a lesson horse. So she'll just hopefully be a lesson horse for the kiddos that I do give lessons to, and just be an extra option there. But otherwise, I don't plan to like trail ride her or anything like that, just because of her legs. So she'll just kind of be here and be used for lessons as needed. Blue, I don't know if I think maybe I talked about Blue. I probably did in the last episode about getting her back in December, but she's just kind of had the winter off as well. We haven't really done anything with her. Melanie did pony her out on a little ride a week ago or so, and said she did pretty good. She's a little shit ass pony. She's just that pony that you throw your kid on to give them a confidence adjustment, because she's a little shit ass. That's what I call her. And so she just needs some patience. She's super buddy sour. She always has been that way. I'm not really sure if it's something that's going to just be fixed. The people that I gave her to were trying to fix that, so I don't really know. We kind of have to figure out what issues she's dealing with right now and instill some boundaries with her, and hopefully she can be a little less than pony too. I don't know. We'll just see what happens with her. But, she's like probably 22 this year. So like she's also getting up there in age, and I'm not going to make her do a whole lot, but she's big enough that I can also get on and ride her here and there if she needs a little adjustment. So we'll see what happens with Blue. Hopefully she'll be in the lesson horse gang, and that'll be that. Other than that, really is just the colts. Rojo, I'm hoping to start under saddle this year. And, he's probably only about 2 years old. We don't know his exact age, but I'm guessing he's 2.5 years old this year. So I will hopefully start him under saddle and start him on just groundwork. And this is the baby basics, the baby basics. I probably won't ride him a whole lot just because he is still very young. But I really just want to haul him around and get him exposed, go to some things with him, and just really get him the experience he needs to be a good citizen. Just hauling around to some shows. If we go to any endurance rides this year, I'd like to haul him along just to go and be outside of his home environment and see some new horses and just, get out and about. So yeah, that's kind of the plan with Rojo. Probably just taking it easy with him, and then maybe next year we'll really focus on more riding type stuff. But I do want to get a few rides on him this year. He's a big old boy, and he's so easygoing. He's very sweet. So we'll just kind of see how he breaks out and how that goes. I forgot about Misty. Oh my gosh. Okay, Misty that I got in November. So she, we've gotten some dental work done on her because she had some really messed up teeth. And then I obviously want her to see a chiro and stuff to make sure, like, she's not lame. She had some, like, weird movement when I got her in her back end. And I've noticed since I've had her that she does it sometimes, but not all the time. Like, it's not like a permanent thing, I guess. Like, with ponying her, when we ponied her on the trail ride the other day, I didn't notice it at all. And Mel didn't notice it at all either. So I'm not really sure, but I do see her do it sometimes. And when I picked her up, when I got her, I noticed her doing it where her back end will just almost kind of like swing. Like swings her back leg out when she walks or something. It's really weird. But like I said, it's not all the time. So the next time I go outside to look at her, she probably won't be doing it. So I want to get a chiro to look at her and maybe have a bodywork session done on her to see if they see or find anything abnormal about her. But she's also never had her feet done. So it's kind of hard to say. Maybe it was a foot issue that resolved itself, and we just don't really know because nobody's picked up her feet to look at them. So that's something I want to do with her this year is get her feet, get her good with her feet, so that she can have proper hoof care and stuff like that. And then if everything's good to go, if everything's sound for her and she's in good health and she's in good weight and everything, then I don't see why we couldn't start her under saddle. She's about 8 years old, so I think she'd be really willing to do it. She loves attention. She loves being around people and doing stuff. Like I said, just ponying her out the other day, she seemed so excited to go. So I don't see why we couldn't start her. Her and Rojo will probably be moved out of their herds into training pens this year. And I just find that the most effective for them while they're in their training season and can just focus on that. And then obviously in the winter, I turn them back out with herds to be a horse, but probably get put there. And then, yeah, hopefully we can start Misty as well. And then there's Chance. Chance... He's just my little buddy. I just loves him. And I don't know what really the future holds for Chance. He's about 3 years old this year. And my vet did confirm that with his teeth because he got a dental done recently. God, what am I hearing? So he's got his 3-year-old teeth coming in. But he's still just so small. And he's such a little guy that I just don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's going to end up being pony-sized, but he's kind of just our little mascot for now. And he's the best boy. I don't think he will be hard to break out at all if that day does come. So really, he's just hanging out, growing, being a horse, and I just hope that he does get a little bit bigger or at least fills out. He still looks like a yearling. Like, he looks like a little straggly yearling with little legs, and he's just the littlest guy. And he actually goes through waves that I haven't really figured out yet. He'll go through these spurts where he'll like lose some weight and start to look kind of crappy, and then I'll deworm him and I'll put him on red cell and like give him grain and stuff, and then he looks really good, and then he'll look really good for like several months, like 3 or 4 months. He'll look great and we won't have any problem with him, and then he'll lose weight again. So I'm really trying to figure out what's going on there. I do wonder if he has like an organ that doesn't work right or something like that that's kind of stunted his growth as well as causes him these like ups and downs. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. I'll probably have to have some more vet work done on him to kind of figure out why this is happening. He does seem a lot more susceptible to worms than my other horses do. Like, the couple years I've had him, he's gotten worms twice pretty significantly. Like last spring when I dewormed everybody, he had big old worms coming out of his poop. And nobody else really did. Like, nobody else seems to have the issues that he does. And I'm not so sure, like, why he's more susceptible to it than others. So, I don't know. Like, it's just really hard. If you guys don't know, if you haven't been here that long, Chance I bought 2.5 years ago from a gal. I've actually bought multiple horses from this gal, but she reached out to me with him because he was in a horribly neglected state from a big group of horses that she rescued. And she knew me from buying previous horses from her, and she thought he would be good for me. At the time, I was really looking for a young colt to start or to raise and start. So it was kind of like the perfect timing, and he was a rescue. He was skin and bones when I got him, you guys. Like, for the YouTube watchers, I'll put a picture in here. This camera is all backwards, so I'm trying to figure out which way. But he looked horrible, and I'm sure that he was starved in the womb and probably right after birth as well. So there's not really any saying with the level of neglect that he went through as a newborn what that did to his body. So, or to his organs or anything, you know. So it's just kind of one of those things where you take a gamble on those horses, those rescue horses. And even though a lot of times they're the best horses, like Chance is the best horse, I just know he's going to be an amazing horse, like when he is older. But it's hard to say what type of health issues will arise with them in the future. So hopefully that figured out this year and see what's going on. But yeah. I don't know really with Chance what all he's going to do this year. I will gladly haul him around as well to the different things, as if he's healthy to do so. But yeah, if you guys have any recommendations or have ever had a horse like that before, let me know, because it just seems like I can't figure out the pattern on it. Okay, and lastly is Bill. Bill is my boyfriend's horse that he bought. So Bill, I think I'm just going to try to encourage Thomas as much as possible this year to do things with Bill. Of course, I'll haul around Bill to stuff with me this year. If we, go on endurance rides or a trail ride or whatever and can pony him along, because he is like probably 1,000 pounds at this point, maybe more than that. He's growing exponentially and he's not even a year old. He's in like a regular horse-sized halter now and he's just getting big. And he's very sweet. I don't think he's got a mean bone in his body, but he's getting to the point where I'm like, I want him like exposed as much as we can while he's this size, so that when he's giant, like he's got a good handle on him. So he's going to go to the clinic this weekend, but I also just want him to do as much as possible, along with Rojo this year. So hopefully I can haul those two around together quite a bit and just give them some opportunity to see the sights and just be buddies while we do different things this year. So not really a whole lot planned with Bill other than just getting him and Thomas to kind of develop a partnership and haul him around. But he's just a baby still, so he's learning. And that's everybody. We do still have Patrick and Louise. I don't really count them in like my number of horses. Technically they are our horses, but they live down the road at a family farm and they just are kind of living out their retirement together, just living out their old days. We really never know how long Louise has left. She's like probably in her late 20s at this point. Patrick is about 20. So at the chance that I have to bring him home, if Louise does pass, then he'll come home and maybe we can figure out something to do with him, or I will offer him back to his old owners if they'd like him back, of course. But otherwise, we'll see if he could have lesson horse potential at all, or he could be, something to ride around here at home. But he has an old leg injury, so he really can't handle long rides because his leg swells up. He doesn't have very good circulation in it, so his leg swells up, and then so he can be ridden. He just can't be ridden very hard. But that's kind of the plan for everybody, at least right now. That's our plan, and we'll see kind of what happens from there. But I'm just hoping for a really good year. I am managing an endurance ride this year, so that was another thing I was going to talk about a little bit. And I have ridden this, I think this will be like my third or fourth year doing endurance. Like I said, last year I took the year off for BB, but I really love the sport of endurance, and I was asked if I'd want to help manage a ride this year. There's not a lot of endurance rides in Iowa. Currently, the one that I'll be managing is the only one in Iowa. The other rides are all kind of in surrounding states. I ride kind of through AERC and UMECRA, as well as AUDRA, which are different organizations, but UMECRA is the Upper Midwest Endurance Riding Conference. So our kind of areas are like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Missouri, and there's nothing in Iowa except for one ride. And actually one of my good friends started this ride, so she is really hoping to kind of put her time and effort into creating another ride. So this year I'm taking over the Iowa ride while she kind of trains us on how to manage an endurance ride. And then hopefully next year she'll have a ride as well. So there'll be 2 Iowa rides, but she's worked really hard on bringing endurance to Iowa and kind of creating a desire for it here, because it's just really not, it doesn't exist here. So I'm managing an endurance ride this year. It's very time consuming. Like, our ride is not till the end of August, right? But we're starting planning now already. So a few weeks ago, we went to Wisconsin, to Madison, to the UMECRA convention, which I feel like convention is a strong word for it. It was really just like a meeting. They had a speaker there So I listened to her for a few hours in the morning, and then in the afternoon they had like the UMECRA annual board meeting. I went to the AUDRA board meeting to kind of meet some of these board members and the people that, the kind of the admin of these organizations, which that was kind of interesting. I'm glad that I went, because I learned a lot about kind of the politics of how these organizations work and the governing of it, and also got to meet people that I'll be directly working with to manage a ride. So it's not just like anyone can just put on a ride and be like, hey, come to our endurance ride. Like, you have to go through the organizations that govern them to get people points and to make sure like they're tracking their mileage and that they qualify. And, you know, these organizations have like different like zones or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. So there's a lot more behind the scenes like office work that needs to be done that I wasn't really expecting. But like this morning before doing this podcast, I spent an hour trying to figure out how to submit my DNR permit, because you have to have a permit to use state trails, and like our ride will partly go through a state forest, so you have to like get permits and stuff for that. And I've actually been trying to figure it out for about a week, but I finally got it to work this morning. And trying to track down the information that they want, and like we have to figure out with our campground, you know, lodging for everybody, for the management. We have to feed all the volunteers. We're going to have to provide a meal, prizes, sponsors, like just all of that stuff that it's like, you don't think about that type of stuff when you just ride endurance and you show up at the rides and you enter and you go and you go to the little potlucks and stuff that they have. You don't think about all the work that it took to get there, but it's a lot of work. And all these different contacts you have to have with the admin of the organization you're working with, and the rules. There's like different rules and regulations and stuff. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's a lot of work, and I don't really know what I'm doing. Actually, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm really glad that my friend, her ride actually didn't end up working out this year, because now she can help me, or she can focus on helping me figure out how to manage this ride, because it's a lot of work. So this will be interesting. I'm not sure how this will all go, but I'm excited to learn. And I definitely wouldn't mind helping manage the ride in the future and, you know, bring more of the sport into Iowa, get more of my friends interested in it, and, you know, go from there. But I think that will be fun. We're going to probably go down there for like the whole week. And that will be great experience for the colts. I'm probably going to bring a bunch of horses with me. Probably BB and Sugar, just to have broke horses there. And then the colts, maybe all three of them. I don't know. Maybe I would like to bring Misty too. So I don't know. I reserved like 5 stalls. If anything, BB and Sugar can share a stall. But it'll be interesting for sure. And I am hoping that I'm doing everything right. But it's nerve-wracking when you're like in charge and have no idea what you're doing. But yeah, that's kind of the plans for the year. I'm just excited to have everybody going again. I think I'm going to be looking for an assistant this year also. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I would really like to have just like a right-hand man. You know, Mel comes out as much as she can, but like I've said before, she's busy with stuff. She's got her own horses to worry about. She works a lot. But I really would like to have, you know, another person that could be here a couple days a week and help me with, you know, the colts and stuff. And if I have client horses as well, a lot of times I need help with them as well. Just a second hand, just another person to give me a hand. And Thomas actually does it sometimes, because I like need to make progress with these horses, but I also need a second person there, because, you know, I'm not one of those people that's brave enough to just get on a horse that I don't know, that's never been ridden before, that's maybe only had a couple rides, you know, completely alone. You know, I might try, I'll do it if Thomas is like home or around, or if somebody's here, I will do it. If I, you know, have some sort of trust in the horse to get on, you know, for their first few rides by themselves. And just knowing that somebody is around brings a lot more peace of mind. But when you're just home completely alone, I'm not getting on these horses that only have a handful of rides. Like, if I get bucked off and die or break my neck or break my back or something and like nobody's around, like that just freaks me out. And a lot of times it's not even that I won't ride when nobody's here, but a lot of times I do just need a second person to have on the lunge line, or to, a lot of times, yeah, that's what it is, to have somebody on the lunge line while I put the first couple rides on, or to walk us around just to get a feel for the horse. It's just necessary at this point. I have some horses that don't load that well, or I have some new ones that I don't know if they load well, and I'm going to pick somebody up, or I need to take them to the vet. Having an extra person to help you load, so nice. I've gotten into kind of a pickle before where I've had horses that won't load and I can't load them by myself. Like, I need a second person behind them or whatever. And I've had to just ultimately put the horse back and take a different one, or not take them that day because I can't get them loaded by myself. So having a second person just around a couple times a week, 2-3 days a week, would be amazing to just have the extra help, and have someone that could also help do chores or could ride another one of my horses, because I can't ride all these horses myself. Like, it's a lot. So having somebody that can handle another horse and ride one of my other horses, and hopefully, handle some colts and stuff, so that we've got more bodies on the horses, to spread between us, and just everyone will get more experience all around. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. And we'll see. I don't want just like I'll probably only open it up to friends and family, because I don't really just want, any random kid out here, just with some crazy parents or something, or God knows what. I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. And maybe I'll find somebody, maybe I won't. But I'm hoping to just have an extra hand around. So that's pretty much all the updates and kind of everything I have today to talk about. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this and this little update. Let me know if there's any other topics you want me to talk about, any of the horses you want me to talk about. If you have any questions on endurance or any other discipline that we do some showing, but mostly just, trail riding, endurance, colt starting, training, stuff like that. So let me know if you guys have any questions, or if there's anything else you want to hear about, any topics you want me to touch on. I know me and Mel need to get together again soon to do another episode, and we're always thinking of like topics we can talk about when we're together. We do a lot of Reddit stories sometimes too, so I should get on Reddit and see what's on there lately. But hopefully you guys enjoyed listening. I'm excited for another year. Hopefully this whole camera footage thing works out in my favor. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.